Good afternoon everyone, this is Inge and I am back with a video, and today we are going to make a background. And let me get this a little bit out of the way so my microphone can get some closer. The thing is, I wanted to do a quick collage, and I had this beautiful paper pad by Mintai. And then I came across this one and I really loved it. Can you see it? Yes, you can see it really well. And that got me thinking that I might have something like this. And I can make it myself. And if I can make it, you guys can make it. So what I have here is a 3D embossing folder. And we all have those embossing folders. Lately I have used a couple to make backgrounds also, and I figured let's go and explore a little bit more of this. And so this is the, does it have a name? I don't think, well, it's a lacy one. I call it the lacy one. It's the crochet. I love crochet. It's from Tim Holtz. They might not have this one, but you could use any type of 3D embossing folder that you have. Altenew has a lot. There's so many brands that have them, even cheap companies, so don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money. Go check it out, but do make sure that it is 3D, and that you get a nice texture. And what did I do? I've made some backgrounds, and let me show you also the failed one, which is this one. Look, because simply the paper wasn't thick enough, and it's, I don't know if you can see, if the light hits it, it's basically perforated the paper almost, and it didn't work. But let me show you. So I had two types of paper. This one, yeah, this is the 300 grams of watercolor paper, and I've inked it up. I've tried different ways, but what I'm going to show you in a minute, and then put it through. And this one is the 200 grams. You can hardly see it here because it's it says 300. No, this is not right. This is not 300. I can feel the difference. This is really, if you feel the difference between those two cards, you can sort of tell. And it buckles up a lot more. But I do like the color. But the flatter it is, the better you get the imprint, and you can then use an ink pad to give this another color. So what I've used for this is simply a white ink on top, and it gives just such a gorgeous finish. But because this is hard to see, I'm going to show you how to make this one. The colors I've used for this are Tattered Rose and a little bit of Saltwater Taffy. You have to really put this on, and then a little bit of salt water. I've used these for both, and as you can see, this one is much more sort of always sort of like seminy than this one. And I've used scattered straw on top of this one. I don't really like it, to be honest. I mean, I am in love with the white one. Now for the white one, you could use two types. You could use the picket fence. That's the one I used in my background that was a little bit grungier, but it had lots of dark colors, so it stood out a lot more. And I've used the Hero Use Unicorn, which is an amazing white, but well, I'll show you when we do it. It's much more softer ink pad, so it's easier to sort of press and to get ink where you don't want it. So that's why it's better to use some thicker paper. Now, what we're going to start with, you are limited by the size of the embossing folder. So I have a card. This is 10.5 centimeters by almost 15. Let me check. Yeah. And I don't know how much. Let me, I'm moving my camera, sorry guys. Let me get you, a little bit, I think 4 1/8. Yeah, 4 1/8 inch by, I would be 6, almost 6, 5 and, is that 3/4? I think almost. Oh, you can see it. It's almost 6 inches. This is the standard size of the pads that they come in. It's like a A5, and then I cut it into 2s. So what, and I'm standing now because that's easier for me to show you with the embossing. To make this, I'm using broken china, but we could also try scattered straw. I did that with this, but then the white didn't show up, so or should we, no, I'm going to go with broken china, because I really want you to see the difference. And with scattered straw, so really load up your brush. You could use a dome, and that's okay as well. That doesn't really matter. Now let me take this. If you don't have the finger condoms like I used before, what you could do is get a little post-it. The sticky side goes to your fingers, and then you can, because if you put your fingers down there, the oils that are in your skin will react to the paper, and you will see either a fingerprint or at least a blank spot, and that's not what you want. This is, you really need to. I'm not doing it on my usual craft mat, which is very sturdy, so we just need to do it. And on watercolor pad, it is hard to get an even coat of the Distress Oxide ink, but that's okay. Just try. In the end, you will hardly see it. Just make sure that there is enough pigment on your card, because that's really what we want. We want it to be very juicy, because in that way the white will stand out a little bit more. And you could do this with any color. I mean, you don't have to use white. You could do a little bit brighter color, but you know, I wanted to do something with the Spring Stories collage book by Maremi, and it has those beautiful pastel-y colors, so that's why I was going for the white and the yellows and the pinks, but it doesn't make for a lot of good filming, so that's why I'm going a little bit darker now. This is a really good workout. If you're making a lot of these backgrounds at once, you don't have to go to the gym with your dominant hand. Trust me. But yeah, and you could go vertical and horizontal, just like this. I hope you don't hear the noise outside. There's a big soccer party going on, and I live just across these fields, so it's a bit noisy today. But that's okay. I mean, spring has really started here, and they've always it's such a fun how do you say that, vereniging. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's club. I think it's a club. It's a soccer club, the local soccer club, and they're playing at home today, and yeah, it's always lively, and people are shouting and how do you say that, cheering their team on. and of course not cheering for the other for the other group, but that's okay. It's yeah, so that's fun. So this is what you end up with. It's not completely a solid. That's if you want, you need other paper. You need some smoother paper, but then the 3D embossing will not go very well. So this is what I will work with. Tim Holtz always recommends his mixed media paper or his watercolor paper. But I think, yeah, this will work as well. You can hardly notice it when we're done. Now, this is the embossing folder. It has two sides. This is, how do you say that? This is where the embossing thing happens. This is raised, and this is, oh, if you put the card, you're going to put it like this. Now, then what we're going to do is spray it with a little bit of water, but make sure to keep a little bit of a towel handy, because you don't want the water to sip underneath, because it is distress oxide ink. You could use distress ink, but it's the same effect. The oxide inks only react a little bit stronger to the water, so that's why we want to avoid water seeping through. Now I'm just giving it a good spray, and then I'm going to do it like this, and I've done this for the last couple of tries, and it really worked. So that's it. We're going to fold it like that. If you want to, you could even put it a little bit more like that. Oh, that's too much. And then we're going to put it through. And I'm going to do this off camera, guys. Now, and if you hear me groan, that's because it takes a lot of muscle to get it through. Yeah, and that was my embossing machine. That's okay, nothing got hurt. It's just Tim Holtz always says do it 3 times for 3D embossing. I did 2, and I think it's more than enough. See, and this is already the difference with this other paper, which is 200 grams. You see, here it's buckling, and here it is not so. There's a little bit of water here, but that's okay. So even with this one, and I don't think you can see it, but maybe you can see it if you see the back, there are little cuts there. That is how much force it takes. Oh, maybe you can see it like this. I don't know, sorry. Yeah, I think you can see it like this. The light shining through. This is what happens. The paper gets a little bit damaged. That's okay. You won't, I mean, if you can put something beneath here, underneath, to protect it. And now I want to show you what you do. You take this white ink pad, you start here from the corner, and you lightly, ever so soft, because you don't want ink ending up on the smooth card, just on the raised parts, and there you go, gently wiping over, and then there you have it. Look how gorgeous that is. Isn't it almost like real lace? That's it. That's all you need. Now, of course, you could do this with different colors. Like here, I did it with scattered straw. But if you really want the delicate part, you should go for white. And that's it. All you need to do now is add a nice image on top. Or if you want to, what you could do is cut alongside and use this as sort of like a sleeve or a pocket. But yeah, really, really nice. So that's it. Really quick background. In my next video, I'm going to show you how I make a card out of this. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.